What's going on, everybody? Emerald Knight Leon back with another deck analysis. It's been a month actually already since Reboot 1 came out with the Tesla Jellymon video. Not a lot that I really wanted to say about those decks, to be completely honest. They were pretty straightforward. Over the last week, been trying to go to tournaments, test out a bunch of decks for this set, so I can talk about them, and overall work has also been a thing. But we're here, and we're here to talk about D-Brigade, a deck that I've always enjoyed. Took it to 23rd in a regional tournament, and I'm still proud of that deck. D-Brigade has gotten a lot of support now. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest, because with D-Brigade, you actually do require certain cards in order to prevent yourself from decking out faster than the purple player. And that definitely is a weird feeling. The first tournament I took D-Brigade to, I was running only 2 copies of the new Missimon, and I had nearly decked myself out numerous times throughout that tournament. But speaking of, let's talk about the new Missimon. I hate saying it, but we kind of need this Missimon. Its inheritable helps us replenish our deck before we deck out. When attacking once per turn by returning 3 cards with the D-Brigade or Digipolice trait from your trash to the top of the deck, it gains 2000 DP for the turn. Now, overall, this is good because we don't have an efficient way of giving ourselves jamming outside of our Seals Dramon here from EX3. It's the only one that has jamming. If we're looking for jamming, that's in Sons of Chaos, but oh well. Being able to replenish those cards back into our deck is a very useful thing to have, though, and it really does save you in the long run. Into our rookies, we are running a few rookies here. I know a lot of people put the EX3 Commandramon in their lists. I personally don't like it. I prefer just maximizing on low-cost stuff with a few blockers here. Because of the new Brigade Dramon, I call it Brigadiermon. I like it. It sounds better. But we are only running 2 copies of the BT5 Commandramon, which is a blocker. Mainly because once we get into our Brigade Dramon or Brigadiermon, everything becomes a blocker, which is great. But aside from the BT5 one, we are running 4 copies of BT4's Commandramon, just for that on deletion, revealing top 3. Then we could play another Commandramon. I especially like using this in conjunction with any of our inheritables from High Commandramon or Cargo Dramon. Where with High Commandramon, we can delete another one of our Digimon to prevent it from being deleted or leaving the field, which lets us get another Commandramon out. And then if we have Cargo Dramon and at that point Brigadiermon, when one of our other Digimon is deleted, we get to reveal 3 cards and play another Commandramon, so essentially giving us 2 Commandras. We are running 2 copies of the 2-cost 3000 DP Commandramon from BT3. I just like it. It's nice. Early in the game, if you ever draw it, it's a really good card. You could just hard play it early in the game. Choke your opponent a bit. But finally, we are running 4 copies of the new BT14 Commandramon. Now, this is a very nice Commandramon. It is a searcher. So when it is played, reveal top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 card with D-Brigade or Digipolice trait among them to your hand, return the rest to the top of your deck. Now, the key word there is card, which means we can bring Satsuki to our hand. And we want Satsuki in our hand because of how she works. But it's a very nice effect. Its inheritable is the exact same as High Commandramon. Once per turn, all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than by one of your own effects, by deleting one of your other Digimon with the D-Brigade trait, prevent it from leaving. Moving into our level 4s, we are running 11 level 4s. We are running 3 copies of Numemon here. Numamon is not a D-Brigade, but it is a Digipolice, and that's actually really good. In the long run, Numamon can actually be your ticket to game because of its effect. It's on play or when Digivolving by placing a Satsuki from your hand in its bottom Digivolution card. It gains Rush for one of your Digimon gains Rush for their turn, which is really nice. So you can just give it Rush and go for game if you need it. Its inheritable does give blocker, which is always nice. High Commandramon, which is treated as a Commandramon, so it can be played off of, say, Commandramon's effect, is a very nice card. It's a 4 cost, it's 4000 DP. Not really the best, but it is also a searcher. When attacking, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 card with the D-Brigade or Digipolice trait from with a play cost of 3 or less from them without paying the cost. Return the rest to the bottom of your deck, which is very nice. Its inheritable is the exact same as the BT14 Commandramon, so it can delete another D-Brigade in order to prevent itself from leaving the field. We are also running 4 copies of Sealsdramon. I love this Sealsdramon. It's got jamming, so it's great for early aggression, but also its inheritable is very nice as well. Coupled with cards like Cargadramon or Tankdramon, any D-Brigade you play, once per turn, it gains Rush, which is amazing because it just adds more aggression if you're trying to go for a more fast-paced takedown. Moving into Cargadramon himself. Cargadramon has an on-play and when Digivolving effect of revealing top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 card with D-Brigade or Digipolice in its trait and a play cost of 4 or less among them without paying the cost, and then trash the rest. This means you can play literally any of your level 4s outside of Sealsdramon. You can play Commandramon, you can play Numamon, any of your high Commandramon, any of the Commandramons, anything, except for Sealsdramon, because it is a 5 cost. Its inheritable is all turns once per turn. When one of your other Digimon is deleted, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Commandramon among them without paying the cost, and then trash the rest. Moving into our other level 5, we are running 4 copies of Tankdramon. Tankdramon has a when Digivolving, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Digimon card with D-Brigade in its traits, and a play cost of 3 or less among them without paying its cost, trash the rest. So unfortunately with Tankdramon, you could not play High Commandramon or your blocker Commandramon because of... Oh wait, no. Pardon my eyesight. It is a 5 cost, so you could play that. Yeah, no, you could play any of that. You could play your Sealsdramon. Pardon me for my bad eyesight. Moving on, though, it is inheritable. Your turn once per turn. When one of your Digimon with D-Brigade in its traits attacks, reveal top 2 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Commandramon among them without paying its play cost, and then trash the rest. If you've noticed there's a lot of trashing, that is an issue, because that is why we need those Missymons. Unless you're running the an option card specifically in this deck, Missymon is your go-to means of preventing yourself from decking out. Because if you do deck out, well, you lose. Into our level 6s, though, we are running 7 level 6s. We are running 4 copies of Brigadiermon. Yes, its name is Brigadramon. I have a trouble saying that. I like saying Brigadier more. Brigadiermon here. When Digivolving, delete up to a 7 play costs total worth of your opponent's Digimon. That can curb a lot of stuff. Also, during your opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with D-Brigade gain blocker. Unfortunately, this means Numamon does not gain blocker because it is only a Digipolice. During the end of your turn, once per turn, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play up to 7 play costs total worth of cards with D-Brigade or Digipolice without paying the cost, and then trash the rest. So this lets you at least gain 1 to 2 different Digimons out if you need it. Or you could just play another Cargadramon, get its on-play effect in order to play another Commandramon, and still get the 2 out there, and possibly get another Brigadiermon out there. Finally, we are running 2 copies of the original Darkdramon. I personally prefer this Darkdramon just because of that rush. Getting that rush in and returning the 5 cards back to your deck, that's really nice. gaining the 2 memory for each one, but just that rush is really nice to have. And then finally, we are running 1 copy of the EX3 Darkdramon. This is the Digivolving version of it, where you return up to 5 cards with D-Brigade in their traits from your trash to the top of your deck to reduce its Digivolution cost by 1 for each card returned. And then during your turn, once per turn, when you play another Digimon with D-Brigade and its traits, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost less than or equal to the Digimon you played and unsuspend Darkdramon, which is really nice, actually, because of the end turn effect of Brigadiermon here. Since it is still your turn when the effect goes through, you can proc Darkdramons here. Now, if I'm wrong, I am sorry. Please tell me. But that end of turn does imply that it's still your turn, just at the end point of it. Now, on to our option cards. We are running quite a few option cards. We are running 2 copies of Ultimate Flare. You know me, I love Ultimate Flare. I will always find a means or what reason to put it in there. It's a really good board wipe if necessary, and I just really prefer that. We are also running 3 Pride Memory Boosts. Unfortunately, we are only able to really play anything up to our High Commander. We can't play Sealsdramon, unfortunately, but that's still a lot of options to for cards to play. It also gains 2 memory as a delay effect. Finally, we are running 3 copies of Defense Training. Now, this is the new delay card that we just got from the new set. Reveal top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 black card among them to your hand, return the rest to the bottom of your deck, and then place this in the battle area. It's a nice effect. Its delay is much better. One of your Digimon may Digivolve into a black Digimon card in your hand for its Digivolution cost. When it would Digivolve by this effect, reduce the cost by 2. This is really good for ramping yourself up into your high-end cards, such as your level 5s and level 6s. It essentially reduces going into cargo or tank into a 1 cost, or hell, even a Brigadiermon into a 2 cost, which is very useful. Moving into our final card, our Tamer, we are running 4 copies of Satsuki. Satsuki is not a memory tamer, but she is very useful. She basically nets us a free memory as long as our opponent has a Digimon in play at the start of our main phase. And she is also a user of the new Mind Link ability, which lets us place a Satsuki as a bottom Digivolution card into one of our Digimon that is either Numamon, Monzaomon, or has Digipolice. So that means we cannot put her under our Commandramon here, Commandramon, Sealsdramon, Tankdramon, or any of our Darkdras. She can only be put under Commandramon, Numamon, High Commandramon, Cargodramon, or Brigadiermon. Okay? She cannot be put under any of the others. But what she does give is very useful. I did mention Sealsdramon is the only thing that has jamming, really. Well, Satsuki does give us jamming as well. If I said otherwise, I am sorry again. For context, I only woke up maybe 30 minutes ago? Yeah, 30 minutes ago. Yeah. Yeah, but she does give us jamming, which is great. Jamming being very useful. She also gives us reboot. Now, the jamming is nice and everything, but honestly, in the long run, it's not that good. Which feels weird to say. Hear me out. When you're basically going very aggro in this, the jamming isn't very useful unless you're going in as a low 4,000 DP. Yes, as 12,000, that is nice, but if you have Missymon under, that's an extra 2,000, bringing you to 14, which means you're pretty much swinging over most things. Jamming is just an extra precautionary thing. However, it is nice. Satsuki also contains the end of all turns. You may play 1 Satsuki from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Now, this is a choice you can make. You could choose to not play her. If that's your choice, that is your choice. Personally, I would just put her back in because next turn you still will get that memory again. You won't get that memory if she's still attached to a Digimon. That is it for this deck, though. There are certain cards you can tech in. Not a lot, unfortunately, and it honestly, I was hard pressed to find cards that really you would want to tech in because the deck is pretty concrete in how it is. However, there are some cards here. For Digi-Eggs, you could run any of the other Missimons. I would not recommend BT4 because it only gives you 1000 DP. The new the EX3 Missimon is a viable option if you wanted to run it as a one-of because it does give your Digimon reboot. So if you choose to put Satsuki under one Digimon that doesn't have this Missimon, they would both have reboot. Pagumon is also always a viable option as it lets you have on deletion reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand if it's a black Digimon card. Place it at the bottom otherwise. Now, I did mention the Decoy Commandramon. That is always a viable option if you want. A lot of people love using it. I personally don't. Starter Deck 5 Commandramon is a nice option. It's a 4 cost, so you put it into your Raising, get that 5k early aggression. Very nice. And also, I would recommend Epsimon if you really want it. Now, the reason I say Epsimon here, its on-play effect is very nice. It reveals the top card of your opponent's security, so you know what it is. If it's a Digimon, you get to draw one, and then you can place it back down. So it lets you coordinate your attacks a little easier. I would only run it as a 1 or, God, even a 2 of maybe, but probably just a 1 of. But it is something that could be useful. For hybrids, Mercurymon, always an option if you wanted to go hybrid for game. Hover Epsimon is another card that I would recommend as a 1, maybe 2 of. Mainly because it lets you reveal the top card of your opponent's security stack as well. If it's a Digimon, you gain a memory. If it's not a Digimon, you draw 1. Either way, you're gaining something out of this, and then you can put it at the top or bottom of your opponent's security stack. So if it's, say, a 14,000 Digimon, you could put it at the bottom of the security stack so you're able to coordinate your jamming a lot more easier. Also, it has all turns while there's a Tamer in play. However, Epsi gains blocker and can't be deleted by your opponent's effects. So there's that also. Now, for level 7s, if you really want it, you could run Quartzmon, just because you are gaining a lot of Digimon, so you could trash a lot. Or you could run Death X. Now, again, if Death X, given it is, $42, $43 right now, if you don't have the money for it, don't buy it. You don't need to. It's just an option that you could potentially tech in if you wanted to. As a board control, really. But that's it. Moving into your options, DG Dimension, just because since you are having Black Tamers, it's a 7 cost. You did Digivolve 3 of your opponent's Digimon, and then delete 3 of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less. DCD Bomb is the other card that lets you return cards from your trash to your deck. Digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon, and then by returning 3 cards with D-Brigade or Digipolice trait from your trash to the top of your deck, delete up to 6 play cost total worth of your opponent's Digimon. It's very nice. It's something that you could go for if you really wanted to. If you are running Ultimate Flare, you could easily tech that out, put DCD Bomb in there, or vice versa. Either one works. Finally, if you don't want to run the training, you could run Black Memory Boost. Personally, I'd recommend the training defense training card, but Black Memory Boost is an option that you could use. And that is it for this video. I'm happy we're finally into a new set. Definitely excited for all the decks that I can play. If you tell me what you thought about this, leave a comment, what you think about D-Brigade, how it's shaping up right now. Because we are getting more Digipolice now. Come in a few sets, we're going to get the Ryutamon Digipolice cards. And that'll be very interesting to see how that shapes up. But leave a like, comment, tell me what you think about this deck. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.